Today we'll be taking a look at a match of StarCraft 2, a viewer game submitted from the slimy swamps of the Silver League. Comes a Terran versus Protoss on the map, inside and out. In the upper right here, the red Terran pieces belonging to Egg War. And his Protoss opponent warping in the bottom left here, the blue probes belonging to Xmasio PLX, a name I'm undoubtedly butchering but have no shame about. Viewer games, I do enjoy them, guys. Keep them coming. Information's in the description down below, of course. First Silver League game for the channel. Usually it's those no good diamond players submitting their games, wanting to get famous for all their successes in game. Oh yeah, got that triple depot wall. Actually have a barracks, double gas though, on the other side. Ooh, a gateway and a forge. Yes, of course. Those are the two buildings that you can make before your cyber core. Gotta make sure you check all those boxes. Now, this game, of course, when you get to the lower levels, you go down a little bit. There are... How do I want to word this? Let's go with it. It's a particular kind of game where there's not really a win condition of destroy your opponent. It's more like, I want to build an army that I like to look at. An army that I want to see and enjoy. And so when you have both players in the game doing this, the game times tend to go... Let's just go with slightly longer than the pro matches, of course, which have an average end time of, I think it's 9 minutes is a typical GM game. Yeah, this is one of those games, guys. I already looked at the time for the replay, and just suffice to say, we're gonna need to speed it up a little bit if I'm going to have this uploaded in any timely fashion. So we'll start here ×2 for now. If not enough action happens, I'll ×4 it. Luckily, there's Brood War cannons going down. Hey, Mr. Protoss here, you are clearly a Brood War player, are you not? We've all been there, we've all done it. This cannon setup was perfect back then. Nowadays, if you want a cannon, if you want the illusion that your base is defended, like right in there, right in the middle, you look at your mineral line, you say, all right, where's a gap? There's a gap right here, so you might want to put the cannon like right there. Much better. Much advice. There you go. That one's free. Terran player. I built a barracks. Yes, I made my barracks here. But then I made my depot wall. And, I mean, come on. You don't expect me to have to lower that depot every time I make a marine. No, I need to have my forward operating barracks. Yes, the FOB, of course, for you military fans. The double bunker, though. Like, double bunker. It's a government spending policy here. Why buy one when I can buy two for twice the price? Yes, of course. Oh, combat shields. First build here from the Terran. Yes, of course. The 211 combat shields Marauder opener. Classic fan. The Protoss side, of course, I cannot neglect one side more than the other here. We're seeing what looks to be a macro 4-gate blink style with very quick. I'm sorry, that's +2 armor. No. Really? Armor. Huh. +1 weapons as the follow-up. It's +3 armor. That's just way too expensive. We don't need that. Who needs that? We're crossing the 8-minute mark, and both players are just happily macroing, so have to see how does this continue. Yes, of course. The Terran's a Brood War player too. Bunker, turret, tank. That was it. That was what you needed. I like it. Alright. We're about to hit 10 minutes. When do you guys think the first unit is going to fall? We have not actually lost anything. Have they even scouted? We saw a couple scans. 0 from the Protoss. Nothing. It says there might be an opponent out there, but I'm Protoss. I got it handled. The double forward robo. I also like to put my robotics facilities in mortal danger. Only on Tuesdays, though. Only on Tuesdays. Observers went out from the Protoss here into the Terran's base, and the Terran has actually moved out of their own base. They didn't bring everything. No. Why would I want to do that? Don't be silly. Setting up the siege tanks, I believe just outside of range, yes. Wouldn't want them to get too threatened. They're good. Moving 1. I see it. Maru moves his tanks 1 at a time, yes, of course. Blinking forward onto the bio, therefore blocking the charge slots from accessing. Fortunately, though, the Terran picked off enough stalkers that the charge slots were then able to connect, which means this Protoss is going to win. Beautiful engagement. I mean, absolutely stellar work. Perfect. Perfect commitment. The stalkers really opening the way for the zealots makes a world of difference. That engagement, of course, is going to send the Terran quite far behind in army supply here, and most of his army supply is in Vikings. He is building tanks. Yeah. And Marines, pardon me. Why Vikings? Like, you've seen Zealots and Stalkers. Also, ooh, Immortals. I like. Uh-oh, the counterpunch. The Immortals have grouped with the army. There's enough Zealots to maybe make the Terran quake, but unfortunately you're gonna walk up a ramp into siege tanks. No, blinking forward takes out the bunkers. The siege tanks still highly uncontested though, and Immortals, as good as they are not Wings of Liberty Immortals. A trade. Both players going to completely throw away their army. Who is ahead? Yikes. Terran looking to be ahead for now. Vikings said he's lost his army. The Zealots have fallen. Send forth the Vikings. Let out your longboats. It's raiding time, boys. Vikings gonna land on deck at the third base. The cannons, of course, not the priority target. We're gonna go for the pylon. The Protoss, quick to respond with only some of the units that they have on hand. Stalkers, of course, the only mechanical unit that's active right now. So the Vikings would have actually been fine had the Terran player decided to commit. Viking, of course, the Terran's mechanical mutalisk, able to go between bases, transition between modes, and then harass the pylon. 2 health. Oh. Did he blink across the chasm? Oh my god. Beautiful. Why warp in more stalkers when you can just blink across the unpassable terrain? Oy vey. 16 minutes, guys. We are at 2-2 upgrades for the Protoss. And the Terran player is making more... Where are they going? Down. What? Why are you making so many Vikings? Also, what? There's an immortal drop here. The 17-minute Warp Prism Immortal drop, of course. Immortals, unfortunately, cannot shoot up. The Warp Prism is going to be deleted, and the Vikings have found their way home. Immortals do better than I expected them to, but not good enough, actually. The Starport was lifted. Yeah. Immortals, their guns are so heavy. Their biceps too thick, they cannot actually aim upwards to hit air targets. It feels like they should, though. I know I've said it before, but some of the particular units, like Marauders, Roaches, and Immortals, maybe, will give them a siege mode that lets them hit air units directly above them. They cannot move, of course, and they cannot target it if it's at an angle, but if it's right above them, they got it. I'm sorry. That's a Tempest? Dear Protoss companion, I don't know if you will ever see this, but Tempest, not exactly the great counter to Vikings. I do have a unit guide out there, of course, for Vikings. You can check that out. It talks about some potential use scenarios, some usage cases, and as well as some counterplay options. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe I said Tempests to beat Vikings. Immortals, like, you know, they can't shoot up, but I might actually recommend them as a better counter. Ooh, tectonic destabilizers on the way from the fleet beacon. How are the air upgrades? Non-existent. Oh, air armor. Being researched. Okay, that's at least something. If we're gonna go toe-to-toe with Tempest versus Vikings, least we can do is maybe make them take one more hit. The buddy system, always an important factor when you're going on these unknown expeditions into the wilds. Oh, the convoy, the conga line. Yes, turrets are in fact the most important thing. Before you start a command center, you have to make sure that the skies are clear. Wouldn't want strabes. Oh yes, now you land. Now's the time to bring the Vikings down. Missile turrets ever. This is the mark of a Metal League game. Missile turrets everywhere. Only effective if your opponent is trying mass liberators. And I can speak from experience on that one as the liberator player. It's incredibly hard to deal with missile turrets with liberators. The Tempest production kind of concerns me. You know what would be really helpful here? The advice I want to give out? Storm. Archons. There's 32 Vikings on the field. Good God. Storms have killed many a Viking back in the day, though. Like, that is kind of one of the best counters. Get some Storm, get some Archons. The Tempest, however, I will say will deal with these bunkers. Even the empty one, they'll deal with. Do I need to amp this up a little more? 25 minutes. Both players get the Zealot swarm of bees. The Tempests are on the move. The Vikings are gonna scout. Battle erupts on the right side of the map. Unfortunately, Vikings can approach from both sides here. The Vikings get their pincer surround attack. They're pressing forward. The Tempest trying to retreat stutter step with one of the slowest units in the game. Of course, they are going to fall. The Viking count drops to 39 with 8 more on the way. Mass Viking. Who did this? Good lord. Hey, wait, what? That's Size Storm on the way? In his defense, I believe there was enough time in between those battles for him to actually tab out. Check my unit guide video. See, oh, Storm's good. That's a lot of Vikings. Yes, Storm's good. We're seeing Blue Flame on the way for Terran. We've reached the point in the game where you get the things that you wouldn't normally get. Like a mothership. The Vikings. Reinforcements landing. This is a ton of Vikings. They're shredding the Stalkers with that bonus mechanical damage. The Templar are here though, and they have Storm at the ready. It's going down. The Vikings apathetic to the bitter end. Some of them gonna get away though. Oh, the blink up into the main micro. God. Vikings landing, harassing the base. I don't even think there were probes here. Solid warp in from the Protoss. Unfortunately, he chose Stalkers on a dial-up pylon. Still gonna be enough though. You guys see each other, right? Yeah. Alright, blink in forward. The Stalker's actually doing quite well. 3-3-2. He's got +2 shields, guys. 31 minutes. 32 minutes. And who's ahead? The viewers. The viewers are ahead. Oh, nobody's winning in this battle. The Vikings land yet again. There's siege tanks being produced too. That's better. You know, Mr. Protoss. Oh yes, recall. Save those 4 Stalkers. You've got Templar and Immortals back at home. The mothership has arrived. Cloaking powers activated. The only thing that's missing from this army is in fact 2 warp prisms. Yes. This is not co-op though. This is not Alarak's war prism. They do not have an attack. But we have 10 Immortals. And the Terran player running out of money. Actually, mineral count is low. Only 8 Vikings are being produced at once, which will absolutely desecrate this mothership. I do not envy this mothership, for when they deal with their ancestors, it will be only shame and remorse that awaits them. Oh, here we go. Testing the siege tanks lines. Unfortunately, the Terran put their tanks on the wrong side of the bunkers. The mothership is going to be targeted down almost instantaneously, along with the warp prism. Luckily, he's got a backup somewhere. Storms beautifully laid down across the Vikings, which are going to be killed off. There's only 3 left, and they have lost the will to continue their existence. This Protoss looks like they are in full control of the game, realizing the good army units, making 10 Immortals and 4 Storm Templar. Vikings gonna land to defend the high ground. The barracks, fearful for its own existence, is going to actually make it onto the high ground, but there is no way this Terran is going to be able to clean this up. The Protoss has wholeheartedly won the day. Solid Storms. High-sec auto-tracking, where is it? Oh yes. That's what we need right now. We need high-sec auto-tracking to deal with all of these Stalkers and Immortals. Oh yeah, send the Vikings across, Terran player, not giving up hope just yet because of course the opponent is still Protoss. There is a 50-50 chance that they just may forget how to move, maybe? Additional barracks being built, the second set of barracks. How many do we have? None. We're at a whopping 0. And army supply only slightly better than that. As the Protoss continues to ravage the main, the Vikings completing their first raid, deciding to go for another. Get that pylon. Break those assimilators. They were decorative anyways. What is over here? Protoss, Warp Prism, Stalker. Oh, this is the defensive group. Yes. Team Delta Defense. They got it. They got it handled. They didn't even need the Prism. Protoss player, why would you split any of this army off? The depots, funneling the Zealots to right on top of the Marines that were unfortunate enough to not be selected for bunker duty. And that's it. That is all they wrote. Congratulations to our Protoss here, recognizing that Tempests and Motherships did not in fact countermass Vikings, going instead for Immortals, Storm Templar, and enough bases to make it happen. Very well earned. Congratulations, GG, to our Terran fellow. Don't do that. Vikings. I don't know. Don't try this at home, kids. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Have a great day.